Yo. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our UFC 306 predictions live stream. If you're new to this, my name is Lucas. The man to my side's name is Rohan. And today, we're going to be giving our predictions, breakdowns and predictions for UFC 306, Noche UFC, sponsored by Riyadh Season, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
We're here. I'm looking forward to it. Only 10 fights. But, man, I'm the way Dana's been hyping up this card, I am looking forward to it. But before we get into it, Rohan, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, my friend. I am excited for this card. I mean, like you just said, Dana's been hyping it up. They're calling it the greatest sporting event in history. I mean, if that's the bar that they're setting, I mean, it got to at least live up to I can't believe I'm saying this, but if this doesn't live up to UFC 300, at least by the environment, the scenery, I'm going to be disappointed because the way that they're hyping this up, I mean, talking about a movie before each fight, I mean, I don't know what to expect, but I'm expecting some greatness on a Saturday night. So, yeah, definitely excited. And the main event, I mean, it really doesn't get better than that. Two completely polarizing styles. I mean, I really don't understand. I mean, I love the matchmaking. I mean, I was gonna say, but yeah, it's a crazy fight. It could go either way, and I'm just excited to see it for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very fun. The main event's going to be sick, and I'm looking forward to it. Welcome back. Thank you very much. Fuck yeah, let's go. Like, I never get a let's go. Like, I never get support, bro.
Man. They don't want you to. They don't support you. This is all my people. High counterpunch. What's up, mentality?
What's going on? Yeah, I'm looking forward to this card. Last week we had UFC Vegas. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Down the drain. Last week we had UFC Vegas 97. It was a very fun card between Gilbert Burns and Sean Brady. Burns just looked old, and
man, I'm mad about that. Like the prediction, I thought it was there. I did not expect him to look that slow and that washed. Like he said, he just didn't look like himself. I mean, if you go back to the Bilal fight, even, which I was judging off of his recent performances. I mean, he broke his hand in that fight and still looked good. So I mean, I was not expecting that from Gilbert, but props to Sean Brady. He looked pretty decent and probably lined himself up for at least a elimination fight for a contender down the line. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like. I mean, how are you that strong and your cardio is that incredible? I mean, he looked good, man. He looked good.
He looked good.
Look, nothing compared to that Bilal fight, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to break down UFC 306. It's T boy. What's going on? What's going on, T? The people they come for Lucas, but they stay for Roman.
Facts, bro. Facts, Ashton. That's my guy.
I see how it is. But yeah, let's get right into it. I'm going to share the screen. You'll see it in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Here we are. Can you see? No, we don't want direction.
Oh, ad right off the bat. Another ad. Damn, Tapology, man.
Oh my God.
All right, I can see
they're
it.
They're selling out. We'll talk about it. They're selling the fuck out.
I know. All right,
I know. 10 fights to break down. We'll start right here. First fight of the night, Raul Rosas taking on Arichi Long. I mean, there's a reason Raul Rosas is a minus 1,000 favorite. Crazy because it's a 19-year-old versus a 31-year-old. But yeah, on the ground, it's just levels. It's levels. You never know. If this fight gets over 1.5, Arichi Lang could be live. Rosas doesn't have the best cardio. But then again, I just feel like the talent, it's the discrepancy is absolutely massive. There's not much to say because, again, it says he's minus 700 here. Tapology puts these odds here on Monday. Right now, he's minus 1,000 on Wednesday. Yeah, Raul Rosas is just so skilled. I saw something today that he said he wants to become champ and retire at 25. That would be
damn. Okay,
that's right there. I think he looks good in this one. First fight in the Sphere, it's going to be absolutely unreal, and I'll say he gets it done in 1. What do you got?
Yeah, done in 1. That's bold, but I mean, I could definitely see it. I mean, he impressed me in his last fight against Ricky Tercios. That was a fight that going into it, a lot of people were questioning whether or not he was ready for somebody who could match his intensity in there. And he looked he fought a beautiful fight. I mean, he waited around. He didn't rush anything. He had to survive a few scares here and there, but nothing really too serious. And then when he got on top, I mean, he controlled Tercios easily, and that'll be the case again against Richie Lang, who definitely has worse grappling than Ricky Tercios. He's, from that aspect, he's one of the worst grapplers that he faced. I mean, if you consider Christian Rodriguez, Tercios as two of his 4 opponents in the UFC, those are pretty decent grapplers. I don't think Richie Lang matches those guys at all. I think Raul's gonna have an easy time getting this fight to the ground, and how I mean, his back takes are actually some of the best in the UFC. And again, he's only 20 years old. He's only going to keep getting better. And this is a perfect stylistic matchup for him. So I'm going to side with you. I got Raul Rosas inside the distance by submission, as always.
Richie Lang's coming off a fight against Daniel Marcos where he was getting the shit beaten out of him and then got kicked in the nuts. And then no contest. Had a win before that, but Johnny Munoz Jr. is not that good. And then got knocked out by Ayman Zahabi. Yeah, there's just levels. There's levels of this game, and I couldn't agree more. And then this next fight is an absolute banger. Before we get into it, getting ready for Saturday fight night. Damn right, we'll be here locked in. UFC and boxing. UFC is significantly better. We all know that, especially on this night with UFC Noche. It's going to be absolutely incredible. This fight, I'm so excited for this one right here. Edgar Chairez versus Joshua Van. I'm interested to see how Joshua Van can knock out after how he can bounce back after his first knockout loss, first loss in the UFC. He got obliterated by Charles Johnson. This guy was such a highly touted prospect going into that fight, and I'd say he still is. But man, this is a tough fight for him because the thing about Edgar Chairez is he is fucking durable. He is so durable, this guy Chairez. So Van, it's not going to be that easy for him to put him away. Not only that, Van taking this fight on short notice. Originally, it was supposed to be Chairez versus Kevin Borjas, actually a fighter that Joshua Van had fought in the past at that UFC 295 card in New York. But yeah, new matchup, and it's a fight I'm really looking forward to because I'm curious to see, will there be a finish here? I just don't know. I don't see Van getting finished again, and I don't see Van knocking out Chairez. I think this one goes the distance. I actually think it's fairly close. I think the line on Van is kind of crazy. I'm actually curious where it is now. It probably is still around that minus 200 range. I mean, I'd favor Van to win the fight because he is so skilled. He's now minus 235, so the public believes in Joshua. I guess it's fair. It's just I just don't know. Edgar Chairez is just so durable. On the ground, he's extremely dangerous. But all in all, I will side with Joshua Van. I just feel like, yes, Chairez is tough. And yes, I don't think Chairez is a bad fighter whatsoever. It's just I feel like Joshua Van's back is really against the wall here. Yes, it's going to be a pro-Mexican crowd considering, the whole theme of the card. But I do think Joshua Van's boxing is so crisp. Yes, Chairez has next-level durability, but his strike and defense isn't all there. So I think Joshua Van takes rounds 2 and rounds 3 and wins a 29-28 decision. Rohan, what do you have?
Yeah, man. Look, I was holding Joshua Van in pretty high regard, entering his Charles Johnson fight, and that knockout, that was one of the most surprising knockouts of the year. And I mean, we saw the same thing with Steve Erceg getting caught by Kai Kara-France. I mean, that was a shock to me as well. But Joshua Van getting knocked out by Charles Johnson, I did not expect that. I mean, he had his moments in that fight. Of course, he lost round 1. He loses round 1 in every single one of his fights. And I do expect that here again against Edgar Chairez. But I do think that Joshua Van has the technical advantage on the feet. Where I think this fight will play out, I do not think that Edgar Chairez will be dying to get this fight to the ground. He won't need to. He's got a lot of physical advantage on the feet. He's taller. He's a little rangier. Well, is he taller? I don't even know. Is he that much taller?
Edgar Chairez is 2 inches taller.
Yeah. Okay. He's
definitely got the height and range. It's just
he's got the but look, Josh, he has experience against those kind of guys. He did have some success against Charles Johnson, and Charles Johnson's a very tricky fighter. He's not a fighter that is similar to Edgar Chairez in any way. He fights with his own style, and it's tough to prepare for. So I think that Joshua Van will have to weather somewhat of an early storm in this fight, but he does that every fight, and then he only grows. He is a builder. He gets better as the fight wanes. And I just think that over the course of the second and third round, as you said, that's when he'll start to do the better work. He's gonna mix in those body shots that he is so good at. I think he'll do a good job of evading shots on the way inside to be able to land those power shots. And yeah, he's got great hooks. He fights behind his jab really well when he's on the front foot. And I expect him to just do the better work over the course of the fight. I hope the judges don't, get swayed by the Mexican crowd cheering on Chairez. But I do think that Joshua Van is just a better overall fighter. And I thought that in his last fight too. I thought that he was a better fighter than Charles Johnson, and he ended up getting caught. But I don't think that that would be the case again here. Though taking this fight on short notice, you never know. It's a crazy scenario.
Yeah, you're 100% right, and you made a great point. Will the judges be swayed by the pro-Mexican crowd? I mean, the volume, I'd say, is going to be on the Chairez side. Both fighters, another reason why I think this goes the distance, both fighters have incredible cardio.
Yeah,
incredible. Chairez, I remember in his Contender Series fight, showed zero signs of slowing down whatsoever. Also, keep in mind, this is a guy that knocked down Tatsuro Taira. That's a good look as well. He didn't win the fight. He did get dominated, but he did have that big moment. Joshua Van, we don't know where his chin is. All in all, I will take Van by decision, but I do think it will end up being a pretty close decision because I don't think Chairez is that bad, and I do think a pro-Mexican crowd will definitely favor Chairez. As crazy as that sounds, that the crowd could play an effect in the fight. We've seen it happen many times before. It will be interesting to see if a big production by Dana White is nothing more than just more lights and nothing. That is what every one of the big production events have been so far. Well, I feel like listening to his interviews, this is going to be extremely different. I mean, he's hiring, professionals to do this. I believe he hired like a guy that has nothing to do with the UFC to run this event. And, they have the Sphere. I also heard in one of his interviews saying like the Sphere is the star of the show. So I'm really expecting to see the Sphere be the star of the show. I think it's going to be absolutely sick. And I do think it'll be more than just lights and whatnot. Van will not win because he's from Myanmar. I don't know who this big Derek Nelson guy is, but I don't know. Apparently
Myanmar.
Yeah.
But I thought they said he's Burmese. Is that the same region, I guess? But like they said he's like the only Burmese fighter in the UFC. Josh Van. I don't know.
I have no idea. I'm not a big Myanmar,
Anyways, let's move on.
My guys, tighten up. Tighten up. I hope you're not a Titans fan. We over here are
Titans. Bro, who is supporting the Titans? Oh, sorry. I mean, no hate to the Titans. I really don't have anything against the Titans. I hope they have a good year. Will Levis, good quarterback. I don't know what that was on the last play.
We can't make fun of other teams considering our.
No, that's why I'm not making fun of. I'm just saying. I mean, Titans. It's a cool team.
He is a Titans fan, but if he ain't Mexican, he ain't winning. I guess we'll find. Well, I guess we'll find out. I do see a few Mexicans actually losing on this card. Not only Chairez, but we'll get into another one after this fight right here: Yasmin Jauregui versus Ketlin Souza. Why the fuck is Jauregui a minus 550 favorite? I mean, I think she wins.
No. She should be. Oh, she should be.
No, she should.
She's gonna destroy this lady, bro. I've seen
minus 550 favorite. Let me talk.
Like she's my most.
Let me talk first. You know that whenever I talk, I always convince you a little bit. So let me go, and then
go ahead.
Are you forgetting this fight against Denise Gomez, Rohan? I mean, she just got blitzed and knocked the fuck out.
I know, but
one thing that Ketlin Souza is. Let me go. She's an absolute fucking marauder. I mean, yes, she fought Marnik fucking Man in her last fight, but she beat the living shit out of her, and she has a very similar style than Denise Gomez. She just comes forward, jab overhand, jab overhand. You're telling me she can't just trap her against the cage and catch her with one of those? I think she's live for a knockout. And just because of that, I don't think Jauregui should be minus 550. Again, all the moments are going to go to Jauregui. It's just the chin is a question mark. And especially at fucking strawweight, you don't see a lot of fighters with a questionable chin, not only in the women divisions, but at fucking strawweight. Souza has a lot of fucking power, and that's clearly something that Jauregui has struggled with in the past. So we'll see. I don't think she should be minus 550. Again, I do want to double check and see where the odds are at right now. Jauregui is sitting at, she's came down a little bit. She's sitting at minus 425 at the moment. I think Souza can knock her out. I think Jauregui should be like minus 250, minus 300. I think she wins. I think she's obviously more talented. It's just, will the power be a problem? I'm not sure. But why do you think Jauregui is going to
I just think she's going to look. I just think at the end of the day, I get all the concerns. You laid them out perfectly. The chin after the Gomez fight, but you gotta admit that Gomez power is up there with some of the best. Like I don't think Souza's power is in that territory necessarily. She's got a lot of power, but so does Jauregui. I mean, she's put people out in the past, very clean. She's got a lot of power as well. And look, I just think that yes, like you said, the chance for her to get caught is gonna be there. just being that it's going to be a wild fight. These ladies are both very chaotic strikers. They're both clean in there, but they leave a lot of openings for themselves to get hit. But I just think that Jaregi's pace, number one. I mean, Souza, especially recently, I think her volume has dipped a little bit, and that's not going to be good for her in this matchup. Jaregi's going to be, in her face. I think she's going to be the one applying the pressure, especially with the crowd behind her, of course. But I just think she's cleaner and she's faster and she's just better everywhere, honestly. Again, yes, the concern about the knockout and the chin is there, but I just think at the end of the day, when this is all said and done, she's gonna look like minus 500 in there because she's just gonna outdo her in the later rounds as well. So yeah, I'm pretty confident, but I can see the concern. So you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it will. Souza probably will catch her. If she doesn't knock her out, I think she will catch her and probably will. I mean, she has 50 minutes to catch her with one punch, but yeah, all in all, I do think Jaregi gets this one done. Not much to say about this fight right here. Let's move on. Only 10 fights. This fight, man, I am looking forward to this one. This is going to be a sick. Oh shit, my bad.
This is bro. My boy Ignacio. That's my boy, man.
I'm curious to hear what you have to say about this one, but I'm going to go first. I've seen. First of all, we got Manuel Torres taking on Ignacio Bahamondes. Both fighters, very good prospects in the lightweight division. And here's what I have to say about this fight, Rohan. Ignacio Bahamondes started as the slight favorite, and he's now moved to the slight underdog. But here's the thing. I think Manuel Torres is just round one or bust. Like, he has almost all of his wins in the first round. If he doesn't get this one done in the first round, I think it's Bahamondes all day, every day. Bahamondes is extremely talented. He's long, he's rangy. And I feel like it's going to be extremely hard for Torres to finish Bahamondes in that first round. I mean, we saw Bahamondes get beat down by Ludovic Klein, and he didn't even get hurt. I mean, he was just eating the punches. I feel like he's lengthy enough to escape any submission attempt, any back take, and I feel like he's not going to get knocked out. I feel like he's too rangy, too crafty on the feet. I do not understand why he's turned to plus money here, and I have money on Ignacio Bahamondes, 2 units on him at plus 102. I guess I'll just tell you guys that right here. For all my premium members, I apologize, but that'll be the live free bet. I just don't understand the line switch. It makes no sense. I feel like Bahamondes is extremely tough, and I think he's the better fighter, better cardio. I think he's better everywhere. I like Bahamondes here. Who do you got?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, bro. I mean, I didn't know that he flipped the plus money. That's crazy. And I mean, I got to take a stab at him as well. I mean, if you're giving me plus money on a guy that's just younger, the better striker, durable as hell, like you just said. I mean, this guy's Manuel Torres. He got power, man. You watch this guy's tape. He hits hard. But I mean, he prefers a chaotic, like a car crash. That's where he has the most success, is where he's able to just freely throw these bombs and eventually catch you because your guard is down. But Bahamondes doesn't fight like that. Ludovic Klein is more of a veteran that was able to work his way inside behind his jab and make, just frustrate Bahamondes. And that was a little earlier in his UFC career. Now, at this point, I think he's adapted enough. He understands his style. He understands his frame and how to use it. Because this guy, I mean, he is so long and dangerous with those kicks, those spinning techniques. I think he's got all the advantages on the feet. As long as he can avoid, those wrestling exchanges and some wild takedown attempts from Torres, I think that he'll be pretty. He'll have a pretty easy time if this fight gets past round one, like you said. Torres is pretty much round one or bust. I agree with that. And yeah, I was gonna slam Bahamondes if he was a favorite or underdog. It doesn't even matter, man. I just love the stylistic matchup, and yeah, I think he's gonna cruise to victory here. To be honest with you,
I mean, again, like, you don't really see Torres getting out of that first round.
Yeah, I didn't peep that when I was looking at his topology. I mean, he really does not get, even in his losses, he's not getting out the first round. Heel hook, knee bar losses in the first round.
Then he had a split decision victory right here, but he slowed down tremendously in that fight. I feel like if this fight gets out of round one, it's Bahamondes all day, every day. And I just, again, don't understand the movement of the line, but I guess we'll see. I'm looking forward to this fight. This is an absolute banger, but we're both going to side with Bahamondes. Should be fun. Let's move on to a fight I really don't care about, but we'll talk about it regardless. We have Irene Aldana taking on Norma Dumont. I mean, it's this fight comes down to who has the bigger discrepancy in what they're better at in this matchup. Aldana obviously is the better striking, and Dumont obviously has the ground advantage. Aldana doesn't have the best takedown defense, and Aldana also has some pretty fucking sick boxing we saw in her last fight against Carol Hosa. So which one will matter more? And I don't know. It's tough. We'll see. I'm gonna side with Aldana. I do think that we saw how durable she is in her last fight, and that yeah, I don't know. But Dumont has looked pretty good recently. I mean, she looked great against the enemy. Chelsea Chandler. I mean, she looked good against Karaosa. Chandler and Wolf. We won't count those fights. Those fighters suck. But I'm gonna go ahead and side with Aldana with very, very little confidence because I can see her getting chain wrestled here. It's just I feel like on the feet it's a pretty big discrepancy, and I think this is a case of damage over control, and that's why I'll side with Aldana, but definitely no money on this fight as of now. Who do you got?
Yeah, this is probably the least exciting fight on the card, but I gotta disagree with you for the first time. I do think honestly that Norma Dumont has what it takes to just drag this fight out and wear on Irene Aldana. As annoying as it's gonna be for the fans in there, I mean that's what she does, and she did it to a T in her last fight against Jermaine Durandamy. When I mean I honestly. I know Durandamy took such a long time off, and everybody was like, okay, this is probably a good stylistic matchup to come back to because there's no real finishing potential for Dumont, and she wasn't able to finish Durandamy. But what she was able to do is just absolutely ragdoll her for damn near the entire fight. And Aldana does have a significant boxing advantage. She is a boxer at her core, and I love. I remember watching her performance against Holly Holm years back. She looked great in that fight, but that is years back now, and I think Dumont has kind of hit the stride in her career, and she's got momentum right now. I just think that as far as upsets go, this is not even an upset. I mean, they're damn near pick 'em -110. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's probably easier path to victory for Dumont. She's durable. I don't think Irene Aldana can finish her really. Not at this stage in her career, so I'm going to side with Dumont by a boring decision that just upsets and kills the mood of the entire card. And the Dana's going to be like, all right, we got to get Zell Huber out here. I don't know when he's up, but they got to get his ass.
Yeah. I just don't understand why they'd put Aldana, someone that they want to shine, up against a grappler.
Yeah, the stylistic matchup makes no sense because Aldana was a former title challenger, right? Didn't she fight Amanda?
She didn't really challenge, but
I mean, yeah, she didn't challenge, but she was there. I mean, and this is kind of like I don't know. I don't really
there. She was definitely there. Kind of like when Megan Anderson was there against New
Yeah, that was the worst one ever. Oh my God. I remember how scared she looked walking into the arena, bro. I'll never forget that shit. Oh my
She looked like she saw a ghost, dude.
She did. She did.
But yeah, I'm gonna go on the other side. I'm gonna go Aldana with very light confidence. But then again, honestly, piss break?
Yeah, for sure.
Food break.
All that.
Go outside and play basketball. Or sports break. Go outside and get some extra gym break.
Exactly. Everything. We can do everything in that time because it's gonna be a 3-round fight. They're gonna take 15 minutes before and after.
No, never mind. I don't want to miss the Noche UFC movies.
True. They got the movies on that.
So no, we have to watch this one. Or I'll watch from like the kitchen or something. You know what? Whatever. Fuck this fight. Let's move on. Next we have. We don't
Ronaldo
have. We have Lazy Boy Ronaldo Rodriguez taking on Ode Osborne. This is one in which I'll tell you again because at this point it doesn't really matter. But I sniped that Ode Osborne money line and got it out.
God damn it, dude! I thought we were gonna disagree. Fuck.
Yeah, I sniped it plus 190. I bet on Ode Osborne a month ago when the lines first dropped. A month ago, plus 190, and now he's all the way down to plus 110. So it shows you that I did something fucking right. Our betting group, we beat so many lines this week. It's insane. Like I'll just break it down. We got Grasso at minus 112. She's minus 140 now. I think we got Lopez at minus 170. He's like minus 175 now. That's not that major, but it's something. We got obviously Osborne here. That's it. But 3 bets we beat the lines on. I mean, this one was drastic. Plus 190, and it's dropped all the way down to plus 110. I just don't think that, yes, Rodriguez is coming off an incredible debut, but like against Dennis Bonder, who gets finished by everybody and their mother. Ode Osborne, he's lost 3 of his last 5. That's very true. But look at the competition he's losing to. Jafel Filho is a stud on the ground. I'm not mad at Ode for that. Asu Almabayev, future top 10 flyweight. Charles Johnson beat Charles Johnson, whether it was a split decision or not. That's a great look. Got knocked out by Tyson Nam. That was pretty sad. But yeah, and then knocked out Zaruk Adashev as he should have. Look, I just feel like This is on the feet. I think it's Osborne all day, every day. 8-inch reach advantage at flyweight. On the ground, maybe I think Rodriguez will definitely have the submission upside, but can he even get it there? Yes, we see guys like Phil Ho and Almabayev getting it there, but we know Ronaldo Lazy Boy Rodriguez is nowhere near that level yet. This guy didn't impress me too much. He dropped round 1 against Bonder and got the finish in round 2. I just feel like on the feet, it's a wash. And I feel like if Rodriguez gets it down, as I said, yes, he can sub him, but I do feel like Osborne will get up. I feel like if it hits the cards, I think it's a damage over control situation. And I feel like Osborne on the feet, I feel like he could, I don't think he knocks out Rodriguez, but I do think he wins the decision here. Plus 190 was absolutely insane. We sniped it for, I believe, 3/4 of a unit, 0.75, 0.6 or 0.7, one of the two, but regardless, over a half a unit, plus 190. That's pretty big for that price tag. Now he's dropped to plus 110. I think I did something right. Rohan said he agrees. Why do you agree?
I agree, man. I mean, watching the tape, because obviously only one fight in the UFC for Ronaldo Rodriguez, so you got to do a little bit of studying on him. And you look at the striking, he is so reckless on the feet. And not to say that Ode Osborne is the most safe, because he's not. He fights with his hands pretty low, as we saw in the Manel Cop fight when he got absolutely obliterated by that knee. That's the one thing about Osborne is his decision making and his fight IQ. Everything else, like all on the feet at least, he's got it, man. Like he's got the patience, the technique. He mixes up his combinations way better than Rodriguez, who just kind of blitzes at you and throws punches from all angles, hoping to connect. I think that Osborne's a lot more calculated on the feet, and he has the finishing potential on the feet. But again, if it goes to the ground, there is a chance that he gets submitted, because he's been submitted a few times in the past. But like you mentioned, the guys that he's losing to, Almabayev, Kopp, Filho, these guys are some of the best, most versatile fighters in the division. So there's no real shame in losing to those level of competition. But Osborne, man, I think this is a great bounce back spot. I think look at that, 3 losses in his last 5, and they're kind of giving him, really tough competition. I think this is one that it's all he's got to do is avoid the takedown. If he just avoids the takedowns at all costs, I think that he has an easy time in this fight. But the problem is, I think there are going to be a few scares where he gets his back taken for a second and has to fight out of it or something like that. So it'll be close. I do agree with you. I think you said 2 rounds to 1. I think a 29-28 decision for Osborne is what I see. A close one, but again, hopefully the judges don't screw him. But like you said, damage over control, I agree. In this scenario, unlike the Dumont Aldana fight, I do agree that damage will trump control. So I'm going to side with Osborne.
Yes, sir. We're both on the dog Osborne there. Although I wouldn't, honestly, I don't know. Maybe I would still bet on Osborne at plus 110. I still feel like there's value. I feel like he wins the fight.
190 was crazy, though. That's a great price. That's great.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next fight in the card. This one's going to be an absolute banger. We have Daniel Zellhuber taking on Esteban Ribovics. I'm going to go Zellhuber. I think he's the better fighter everywhere. I think he's better on the feet. I think he'll be able to establish that jab with that 8-inch reach advantage. Something else. Yes, Esteban Ribovics is coming off a sick knockout against McKinney, but we all know that's what McKinney does. He either dies in round 1 or wins in round 1. What are the two? And there's no other option. We look at Zellhuber's career. Yeah, he lost to Ogden, but Ogden just does that to people sometimes. It was Zellhuber's UFC debut after looking incredible in the Contender Series against Lucas Almeida, who's another UFC fighter who's also looked really good recently. He comes in, makes his debut, and just gets Ogdened. So whatever. I don't really count that. He comes back, wins 3 straight in the UFC. Great submission against Giagos. Nice win against Venata. And beat the shit out of Prado in his last fight. The damage to Prado's face was ridiculous. And, I feel like this is going to be a tougher fight. This is probably going to be his toughest fight outside of that Ogden fight so far. But I do think he gets it done. Ribovics, I do think, is skilled, but it's going to come down to that jab, man. I feel like Ribovics is going to get jabbed to pieces. I think Zellhuber's just too technical in this matchup. He's 25 years old. I remember he got signed when he was 23. He's only making improvements, and so is Ribovics at 28, almost entering his fighting prime. But then again, technically, I think Ribovics is massively outmatched here. And I think the kickboxing of Zellhuber will be too much. And I don't really see Ribovics trying to mix in the grappling at all. I think he's going to come in here to try to put on a war. And I feel like I don't know if he lost to Lloyd Gradskabov. I don't know. I want to say Zellhuber gets the finish, but Ribovics is pretty damn tough in his own right. So I'll say another dominant. I'll say a 29-28 Zellhuber decision. Pretty confident in that though, and the line I think makes sense as of now. No money on this one though. What do you got?
Yeah, man. I mean, another one, Daniel Zellhuber. He's another one of these guys. Him and Bahamundes. These are some of my favorite prospects to watch. They are so technical and young and improving with every fight. And I think that the range and the height advantage that he's going to enjoy in this fight against Ribovic are just going to be the difference here. Like, I like Ribovic. I think he's got potential to be one of those, guys that lingers in the top 15 of the division, maybe. But this is just a bad matchup when you look at Zellhuber, because this guy, like you said, he's so technical. The boxing, the head movement is getting better. It wasn't, the best in that loss to Trey Ogden, which was just like, oh my God, I remember that shit. It pissed everybody off. But I mean, I think he's improving his defensive fundamentals on the feet. And then the boxing, man, the body work of Zellhuber is beautiful. He does such a good job of just slipping and hitting the liver with those short left hooks. I think that's going to be a big difference. The one thing about him is he's got to do a good job of checking the leg kicks. It's not a big tool of Ribovic, but if he does his tape, I mean, it should be. So I think that's one thing that he's got to be a little wary about. And then obviously he's got to be able to manage the distance, because if he gets in close range, even that head kick that Ribovic landed on McKinney, he was kind of close range to him. It wasn't like he extended from far distance. Like, he's really dangerous if he gets in the pocket. So Zellhuber's got to be careful of that, not keep his chin up in the air. But I do think that overall, man, this guy is too technically sound. And with the crowd in his favor, like he understands the magnitude. He understands the potential that he has to become, one of Mexico's best or next best fighters, maybe future champion. This division is tough, man, but he's got what it takes to be one of the best. So I'm going to side with Zellhuber. I think he gets it done inside the distance as well, bro. I think that's a big take. Bold take. I know you just mentioned Ribovic really never been finished. Did he get finished by Loic? He didn't get finished, right?
No,
didn't get finished. But man, I think Zellhuber's accuracy, his power, the energy that's going to be in the building, I think it'll fuel a finish, hopefully, so he can just power his rise, because I think this guy has got crazy potential. I'm a big fan of his, so I agree. Zellhuber inside the distance is my pick.
Yeah. I'm rocking with you on that. Looking forward to this fight, though. It's going to be an absolute banger. Ribovic is going to bring a war. I just feel like technically it's Zellhuber's fight to lose. So
that's the one thing I will say. One more point to add. Sorry. Two of these fighters on this card. One thing I forgot to say about Yasmin Oregi and her fight. She can fight going forward and backwards. Those fighters are my favorite when they don't panic on the back foot. Zellhuber does not panic. Like, he's going to be able to deal with the pressure of Ribovic, I think, and still be able to find those holes on the back foot. So I do agree. I mean, that's just another point to add. But yeah, I love it.
It's a good point. Yes, you're right. Those fighters definitely win more than they lose. I'll give you that. Let's move on to, I believe, is this next fight Diego Lopez? Yes, it is. Brian Ortega taking on Diego Lopez. As everybody knows, this fight was supposed to take place at UFC 303. Brian Ortega pulls out the day of the fight, and and stepped in Danny Gay. Lopez gets the job done. I just feel like this is a bad style matchup for Brian T. City Ortega. Not only is it a bad style matchup at this stage of his career, I mean, we're seeing the guy can barely make it to the fight. I mean, as soon as he cut weight in his last one, he just collapsed. I mean, it's unfortunate that it has to be like that, but I just feel like Ortega just maybe, I don't want to say he's done because he looked really good against Yair Rodriguez, but I feel like, I mean, I just don't see how he wins. The guy is very fragile. I mean, we even saw before that Yair fight started, he was jumping up and down in the octagon and rolled his ankle. So I just feel like the guy's very fragile. I feel like at this point, he's taken so many beatings from Holloway to Volkanovski that I think Lopez can knock him out. I think Lopez can submit him. We saw fucking Yair pop Brian's arm out in the first fight. I feel like an armbar is live for Lopez. I feel like a knockout's live for Lopez. I feel like Lopez finishes this fight, and I feel like his line should be around -250. I really like Diego Lopez. I've liked him for a while. I had a massive bet on him when the fight was first scheduled, and I've got some money on him here as well. I like Lopez. I think he gets it done. I'll say submission. I'll say they clinch up, and it's a fun little scramble, but Lopez is the one to find the submission. But who do you got?
Yeah, man, I gotta agree. I'm sorry to disappoint everybody watching, but I don't think we're going to disagree much more in this breakdown video because I think that Diego Lopez is at this stage in his career, he's clear of Brian Ortega. And I love T City. I love what he's done in his career. Even his last fight. I mean, the guy, I would not have picked him, especially after he hurt his freaking ankle 2 seconds into the introductions. Like, I mean, the guy was like, he bounced back from all of that to submit him. But this is a different fighter, man. Diego Lopez, he's like a one-man wrecking crew, the way he just runs through these guys. And if you take the Dan Ige fight just at face value, they came in and accepted the fight on 4 hours notice. And Dan Ige is one of the toughest. He's never been finished in his career. He's one of the toughest guys on the roster. So there was no shame in going the distance with him. I think in this fight, it's going to be pure chaos from the first bell. Ortega, he doesn't back down from anybody. He keeps his chin up in the air to be hit like nobody's business. I mean, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Diego, who's faster, who's stronger on the feet, to catch him on the chin. And I think there's probably going to be a few occasions that he does and puts him down. And I think that, yeah, like you said, we've never seen Ortega really in trouble of being submitted. I mean, I don't really count that arm, popping out of his socket as a submission loss. I guess it's technically counted as a TKO or whatever. But I mean, if anybody does have the potential to submit this guy, Diego Lopez is the guy. I mean, he's arguably got the best jiu-jitsu in the UFC right now, if it's not Charles Oliveira. I think he finishes the fight. I think he's got every physical advantage he needs. He's just going to be way faster in there. He's going to be the one on the front foot, putting the pressure on. And Ortega is an opportunistic grappler. Like, he waits for an opportunity to present itself, and then he'll jump on it. But Diego Lopez is the guy to press the action and just make something happen. And I think it's going to be a good recipe for him in this fight. So I got Diego Lopez inside the distance. Man, there's so many good prospects on this fight, on this card. I'm definitely excited for this one, though, because it could be like a passing of the guard, it feels like, for sure.
I wouldn't even say Lopez is a prospect at this point of his career.
Yeah, I mean, he's a contender, bro. He's a threat. He's a threat. Oh my goodness.
Threat.
Yeah,
big threat. The jiu-jitsu is a serious problem. I've said for over a year now that I think this guy is the best jiu-jitsu in the UFC, possibly outside of like Royce Gracie of all time. I mean, I think he's that dangerous on the ground.
That's insane praise, but I mean, he's not really, doing anything to fight that. He's just keeping doing these crazy performances, man. I mean, the wrestling, the grappling is crazy. It's crazy. Oh man, I'm excited.
Yes. His submission game is out of this world, and apparently he's got a lot of fucking power as well. But Diego Lopez is the pick. I do see like a passing of the guard situation. I mean, as I mentioned, just stylistically, it's a bad fight for Ortega. I just don't see a lot of paths. Does he submit Lopez?
Yeah, he's got to drag it out. Like, he has to just pray that because it's a 3-rounder at the end of the day. I think that does favor Brian somewhat, I guess, because not really, but that's his only chance, is to win 2 rounds out of 3 and somehow. Because I don't see him having any success on the ground. As crazy as that sounds, he's not a wrestler, so it's not like he's going to try to get the fight to the ground. He's a grappler that just jumps on submissions from guard, from just jumping on your back randomly. Like, he's not a guy that's going to grapple Diego Lopez. So, I mean, his only chance is on the feet, and he's worse on the feet. So, I mean, yeah, I don't see it.
I don't see it either. We're locking in Diego Lopez. I think he gets it done. Need to talk about boxing.
Oh, Lord. What is
MMA
it?
is not on boxing level. What do you mean on boxing level? What do you mean by level? I don't. Entertainment-wise, MMA is definitely significantly better than boxing. And also, any MMA fighter would beat the living shit out of any boxing fighter. But that is a discussion to be made for another day, because we have UFC 306 to focus on. And we have the co-main event to talk about right now. Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. Number 3. This is one of my most confident picks here. I think Alexa Grasso will win this fight. And it's as simple as this. I released a short video today that we recorded earlier today, where I'll pretty much repeat the exact same thing that I said in that video. If you take 2 fighters who, last year had a neck and neck fight, 50-50 fight, I honestly thought Grasso edged it out. But if the scorecards weren't fucked up, Shevchenko would have got the nod. Regardless, it was about a 50-50 fight. If you have a 50-50 fight, and now one fighter is still in her fighting prime at 30 years old, and the other fighter is 36 and a half, who's going to be making improvements and who's going to be declining? I mean, you have to take Grasso here. Again, we saw a 50-50 fight a year ago. I just don't see how Grasso loses this fight. She's going to be the one getting better. Shevchenko's either plateauing or just declining. Another thing I don't like with Shevchenko, I'm a big Ultimate Fighter watcher, and she is doing this thing where she doesn't drink water when she trains. And especially at her age, I don't think that's an amazing decision. I think Grasso gets it done. Will she finish her? I don't know. But again, like, I'm going to take the fighter that's making the improvements. I love Alexa Grasso here. I feel like she should be around a minus 160 favorite just because of that. What do you got here?
Yeah, it's like you said. I mean, how can you really have any confidence picking Valentina when you could make the case that she's 0-3 in her last 3 fights? I personally thought she lost to Tyler Santos 3 fights ago. And I thought that, if you were going to pick a winner, gun to your head, I thought, Alexa edged out the last one. So her last win, you're telling me realistically, in my eyes at least, came in 2021 against Lauren Murphy. I mean, that's a long time ago, and times are changing. And Alexa Grasso, I think she's just taken over as the face of this division. I mean, you saw it. Like, when you're not scared, this is the thing. Valentina, Amanda, they strike fear into their opponents because, I mean, you look at their body of work and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to step in there with this person. I mean, I better, pray. But there's this Mexican fighting spirit that Alexa Grasso has. She is not scared of anybody. She will go in there and walk you down no matter who you are. And we saw that in the first fight, and it was confirmed in the second fight. That's the biggest thing, right? Because the first fight, we saw what she was able to do, and we weren't sure. Is it a fluke? Because we saw what Tyler Santos was able to do, but we didn't really get the chance to see a rematch. So we're like, is it real? Is it not? She came out in the rematch and proved, yeah, I'm here to stay. I'm a problem. So we know that this is going to be an extremely competitive fight, probably. But if you're going to give somebody the edge, like you were just eloquently saying, you got to give it to the younger, better fighter that's entering their prime rather than the 37-year-old who's, I mean, credit to Valentina. She's top 2 female fighters of all time, but her time is up. It's really that simple. And Alexa's, I mean, her boxing is great. I think she's going to be the better boxer in this fight. And then the wrestling of hers is actually a big weapon, which I didn't really expect to be the case, but it is. She's got great weapon. She's got great offensive wrestling. No, she does. I mean, obviously, I don't think she'd prefer to take the fight to the ground because that's where Valentina would rather have it. But I mean, even in that Santos fight, she wasn't having the most success on the ground. The last Grasso fight, I mean, I don't know. It's not like
that's where I kind of like.
The last one.
Again, we're doing the thing where we're arguing for no reason because I think Grasso's going to win. We always end up doing this. But we did see she was kind of she got the submission in the first fight, but before that,
I know.
She got out wrestled. And when she was losing moments in the second fight,
it was on the ground. It was on the ground.
That, but hey, you never know. At this point of their careers, she could have the better wrestling. So.
But again, just the fact that she was able to get to Valentina's back and submit her. Like we saw Tyler get to her back, but she couldn't submit her. Grasso did it. Like, she just shows that ability to break through to that next level. So I do think that, yeah, on the feet is where she'd like to have it. But if it were to be on the ground, I think she could hold her own at least, especially with Valentina being 37 years old at this stage. I'm not going to trust her wrestling ability the same way I did when she was freaking hammered or elbowing Andrade's face into the mat from Crucifix all those years ago. Like, that's not the same type of fighter that she's facing now. I think everything points to Grasso getting her hand raised here. But man, let me say, if Valentina wins this, it would be some story. It would be some story because that is some level of dominance. Because to come back from that, 2 losses arguably, and then a questionable win, and then to restake your claim as the face of the division and the GOAT of the division. I mean, that's going to be a movie. But I don't think it happens. I do not.
I don't think it's the debate that she's already the GOAT of the division. It's just. I don't know. I just don't see her winning. I just don't.
I don't either. I don't either.
And we got the fights taking place in front of the pro-Mexican crowd, just like the last one. We're going to see the crowd making a shit ton of noise when Grasso does something. Yeah. And, I think this one's going to be very fun, though, just like the last one. I'm really interested. I don't know how it's going to play out. Will they hit the mat? Will they strike? Maybe a little bit of both, like the last one.
I
We'll
think
see.
it'll be a little bit of both. They're just so well rounded. Both of them are so well rounded. They want to show off the entire arsenal. I think it'll make its way to the ground at some point. But again, I don't see either lady getting completely dominated. I just think I think Alexa wins maybe like 4 rounds out of 5, and one judge has a 3-2. I could see just one of those cases where it's pretty decisive that she wins a decision.
Yeah. We're on Grasso here, folks, and we're pretty confident about it. I'm liking and subbing. Cool channel. Thank you very much, sir.
We appreciate that. We appreciate that.
Yeah. If you're not already subbed, if you didn't drop a like yet, please do that. It means more than you think, so we greatly appreciate it. It's time to talk about the main event, Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. Before we do that, as always, one free week of our premium bets. UFC 306 is going to be maybe our biggest betting card of all time. So many just straight bets sticking out. It's insane. And you can get it for completely free. Just click the link in the description and you'll get a free week. You can always cancel before your week ends so you don't get charged. Completely free week. But let's get into this fight. Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. And something I wanted to mention when I was talking about the Grasso fight, and also what I mentioned in my short earlier, Rohan, some MMA fights, they're easier to break down, like that Grasso-Shevchenko fight, because we saw them fight twice at this point. We know what both fighters do well, and we kind of know what to expect, and we can judge that fight off of, who is the fighter that's getting older, because we've seen this fight happen twice. With this fight, you cannot do that because you have two fighters in their fighting prime, and you really have to look at the details, and it's tough. It's tough. It's definitely a tough one. But I mean, I gotta side with Sean O'Malley, and I'll tell you why. And it's because of those little details. Now, your average regular capper or fight predictor might say, "Oh, look at Merab. He absolutely ragdolled Peter Yan, and Peter Yan arguably beat Sean O'Malley. So how is Sean O'Malley gonna knock out Merab Dvalishvili?" Well, I'll tell you. Peter Yan is more of a stationary target for Merab to, grab the legs and chain wrestle. Where this fight is going to come down to is the footwork of Sean O'Malley, how he's going to be able to, cut corners and evade the pocket and, not allow Merab to grab onto that single or double leg. I won't say run away, but just, maneuver around the attacks of Dvalishvili. And I just feel like the angles and the footwork will be key here for Sean O'Malley. The range here will be very, very key. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage, 5-inch height advantage. I mean, I think, does he knock out Merab? I'll say he does, but even if he doesn't, and Merab does get him down a couple times, I feel like on the feet, it's a wide discrepancy. If Sean O'Malley comes in here healthy, he needs to be healthy, man. He can't come in here with a rib injury and pray for, a step back KO like he did against Aljo. He needs to be healthy. He needs to be locked the fuck in, which O'Malley is a very high fight IQ, so I can trust that, it is a big moment in the Sphere 101, but I do feel like O'Malley will live up to the moment. I feel like he'll use his brain in there. I feel like he'll use his footwork, use his high IQ, work the angles, and probably knock out Merab Dvalishvili. So I like Sean O'Malley to win this fight. Rohan, talk to me.
Bro, this is insane. All right, because I'm thinking, right, and you're breaking it down. I can't see Sean O'Malley winning a 5-round decision. I just can't see that. I think Merab's gas tank is actually like inhumane. It's kind of like scary. So I think Sean O'Malley kind of has to knock him out. But he's going to have like 3.5 to 4 rounds to knock him out, I think. And like you just said, man, I mean, I'm just going to flat out say it. I mean, I made the short about it earlier in the week. So if you guys go check out the Instagram, you'll see that short that we made on Sean O'Malley. But man, in my opinion, this guy is top 3 strikers in the UFC. He might even be number 1 currently. He's got his own style. There's nobody that can emulate what Sean O'Malley does in the octagon. Like you were saying, the footwork, it is so unique. It's so special. The guy, I mean, he fights with his hands low, but his head movement is just good enough to evade those big shots. I mean, he's been in there with some hard hitting guys. Petr Yan hits very, very hard. Marlon Vera hits very, very hard. I mean, other than that body shot that he ate at the end, he evaded every big shot and landed at an insanely prolific clip. Like he's the accuracy, the speed, the volume on the feet. It's something that the combination, I don't think I've seen that before. That's why I hold Sean O'Malley in such a high regard. That said, this is the worst possible stylistic matchup. Merab Dvalishvili, he's a machine. That's his nickname. He's the machine because he does not fucking stop. He just keeps coming forward, keeps coming forward. He will shoot at your legs. But let me tell you something, Lucas. His coach, Ray Longo, and I'm not really a fan or a hater of Ray Longo. I think that gym is pretty cool. They got their champ, Aljamain Sterling. It's a good gym. He, in an interview recently, openly said, "Oh yeah, Merab's gonna have to eat some shots. He's gonna have to eat some shots on the way in to win this fight." Bro, you want to eat some shots from Sean O'Malley? I don't think so, my boy. I do not think so. I just think that with the bigger octagon, this is not the apex where he fought Petr Yan and was able to just keep, coming at him because there's no space to move around. O'Malley's going to have all that space in that big octagon to move around, evade the pocket, like you said, evade those takedown attempts, and he will catch him. I am a full believer that he will catch him at some point because he's too accurate. This guy is a Conor McGregor level sniper. He might even be more accurate than Conor, and that's crazy, but he is that guy on the feet. And Merab is going to have to look out, bro, because he rushes in there he throws caution to the wind. His chin's going to be up in the air, and O'Malley is going to catch his chin. He's going to put him out. We've seen Merab rocked before by Marlon Moraes. I think we're going to see that part 2, and this time he ain't getting back up. Sean O'Malley inside the distance, round 3, knockout. That's my pick. Matter of fact, round two, knockout.
That's what Sean O'Malley's saying. He's saying that he's feeling round 2. So
I'm feeling round 2 as well.
We'll see. I don't know. I feel like he could get it done in 1. I really do.
I do too. I just think Merab is going in there, like you're saying. I mean, his coach knows that the only way for him to execute his game plan, which is to repeatedly take you down, is to get inside. And you can't get inside on Sean O'Malley without exposing yourself. And if you expose your chin, you're going to get caught. And if you get caught, you're going to sleep. That's what I'm saying.
It's going to be absolutely electric. But all in all, I agree with you. I do think O'Malley will knock out Merab. And yeah, as you mentioned, I didn't hear that Ray Longo said that, but you cannot eat
not a good sign
from Sean O'Malley. I mean, if O'Malley can just catch him with that right down the pipe, it's going to be night, man. It's going to be an absolutely insane fight, though. And I'm curious to see how both fighters handle the pressure. Obviously, we know Sean O'Malley always has the spotlight on him, and we can trust him to handle the pressure more than Merab. But Merab's going to be in that octagon, in the sphere. First pay-per-view headliner. Will he be able to handle it? Will he just go balls to the wall, spamming decision and takedowns?
That's a good point.
Not think strategy. I mean, that's how he wins fights. I mean, the guy just fucking outpace and out-cardio you. But I feel like the casual pick here, although O'Malley is, a big fan of casual fan guy, I do feel like the casual pick is Merab because, we saw Petr Yan take down Sean. We saw Merab absolutely demolish Petr Yan. So, MMA math says that Merab beats Sean, but I just feel like angles are going to be huge here. And I just feel like Sean snipes him. I'm with you. We got Lindsay in the chat saying Merab by decision. Sugar is overrated. I do not think Sean.
I'll say there's potential. There's potential that Merab just takes it because he's not finishing him. Let me say that he's not going to finish Sean O'Malley. The guy has 4 finished wins in his entire career, 1 in the UFC. He's not finishing Sean O'Malley, who's been proven to have a chin. The only way for him to win this fight is to just put on the most boring wrestling clinic that we've seen. And is there a possibility he does it? Yeah. But I think Sean O'Malley's prepared. I think his coaching is just better. You listen to the advice that Ray Longo gives his disciples in the corner. He's just like, keep going. You got him. Look at him. Keep going. He doesn't give any technical advice. Tim Welsh in Sean O'Malley's corner is a much better coach. You mentioned, I forgot. I don't know. I agree with, we on the same page here, man. We on the same page. Sean O'Malley inside the distance. He's got I don't think it's the casual take. I was going to ask you, is the community split on this? How is the MMA community really seeing this fight?
I see a lot of people on Twitter dropping the bag on Merab, but then I feel like the sharp gamblers are on O'Malley. You see the line on O'Malley either stay the same or raising. And I feel like that's for a reason. I feel like it's deeper than just MMA math. I feel like it's just deeper than Merab's just going to out cardio this guy, grab onto him and chain wrestle him for 5 rounds. I feel like it's deeper than that. I feel like IQ matters here. I feel like angles matter here. I just feel like the technicality of O'Malley will be extremely superior. And I'm confident. And I was confident before I saw the line change and before I saw people betting on Merab. I do think it was one that I was flip-flopping at first, but I am, as we get closer to the fight, I am confident in Sean O'Malley to get this one done. I just feel like there's too many advantages. But if Merab can get him down, that's when it gets interesting. It's when it gets really, really, really interesting. If he can consistently grab a hold on Sean O'Malley, I don't know. It's going to be sick. But I feel like 7 times out of 10, Sean O'Malley knocks out Merab if they fight 10 times. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, yeah, there's going to be a few fights out of 10 that Merab, does what he does and just completely mauls him and is able to control him for 25 minutes. But there's a lot of other times where Sean catches him because he's very reckless and he leaves his chin up to be hit, and Sean's going to capitalize. So that's where I'm at.
This fight's going to be absolutely sick. I'm really looking forward to it. This whole card is going to be absolutely sick. Although the name value isn't really there outside of the last
it
three.
It is. I mean, those top three fights, I don't think
out of the last 3 fights, the name value isn't really there.
For me personally, I got name value. I got Bahamundes, I got all these guys, baby. That's my guys right there.
There are going to be some
Rosas is opening the card. That's crazy.
Regardless of if there's name value or not, it's going to be an absolutely sick card. It's going to be super fun. Chirez Van, sick fight, as you just mentioned. Raul Rosas opening up the card. It's going to be sick. Torres Bahamondes is an absolute banger. O'Day on the fucking pay-per-view. I never expected, but that should be fun. And then the 3 main fights. It's going to be sick. But yeah, any final words on UFC 306? Do you believe it's going to be the greatest UFC show of all time? Because I do. I believe Dana White. I'm a sucker. I believe.
Believe him. Hey, man, it better be. The way they're hyping this up, I don't know, because as a viewer, that's not going to be in attendance. I'm just interested to see what we're experiencing, what we're going to get to see, because we're obviously not going to be able to get that 360 scope, of the whole arena. But he's saying regardless, it's going to be a crazy viewing experience. So I'm just excited. But more than that, man, I'm a fight fan at first, more than anything. And these fights are going to be incredible. So I'm glad with that the UFC finally put on a great pay-per-view. And yeah, the Sphere should make it 10 times better. So I'm excited.
And, it doesn't end after this pay-per-view. There's a bunch of other pay-per-views coming up after that are going to be fucking sick. UFC 307 is going to be fun, seeing Pereira absolutely demolish. What's his name?
Khalil.
Then we have UFC 308, which is, oh my God, that card is stacked. Absolutely stacked.
Yeah, 308 might be 300 level. And that's just Max Holloway, name value #1, but then they stacked the fuck out of that card. I'm excited for 308.
Yeah, man. The main event, My Titty Beck Orobai. Taking on James Rebecca. That's actually a pretty sick fight. There are some good fucking. I mean, just look at that. Look at that main card. You got Ilya Max, Robert Hamzat, Stirogan Volkov, Murphy Ige, Ankalaev Rakic, and then the prelim. I mean, you also got Jeff Neal dos Anjos from the prelims. Bruno Ferreira, Abus, Renat Fakhretdinov, Nursultan.
Yeah, that fight is even a sleeper, man. Nursultan and Renat. Damn.
Shara Bullet as well, dude.
Wow.
It's gonna be.
Yeah, there's not a bad fight. That's crazy.
I don't think there is. This is gonna be, and then UFC 309 in New York, John Jones. We've got an exciting stretch of UFC to come. Awesome, great review. Thank you very, very much. We've got an exciting stretch of UFC to come, and I'm looking forward to it. But any final words, Rohan, for the people?
Just enjoy this Saturday, and we will be giving y'all more content until then. Enjoy, and have a good one, guys.
Speaking of more content, Friday, parlay show, Hail Mary parlay.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that. We're doing that again. Yes.
We're chefing up. We hit last time. We're going to do it again.
Word.
We got a plus 2,000 something. It was crazy.
Yeah. So early Friday during the day. Expect that video. Expect that.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, we will see you on Friday for another live stream. As always, link to all of our socials and a free week of our killer MMA betting group is in the description of this live stream. You can access it right now. Just go click on that link. But for now, it's been Lucas and Rohan. The outro music, I fucking forgot it again. I got to play it for like a second. Oh, wait, where is
it? There we go. It's back. It's back.
Adios. Peace out, everybody. Have a good one.